I'm gonna be so real with you right now. I just had the best meal I've had for a long time. And it wasn't necessarily because it was good. It is just because, I don't know, I haven't been eating for like 24 hours now. A bit more, like 28 maybe. 30 even. Yeah, probably 30. Now when I think of it, maybe even more, 31, 32. And yeah, the thing I will be talking about right now, I actually have no clue. I have a rough idea, but yeah, I don't know exactly, to be honest. First and foremost, yeah, I'm recording. Great. So, like, usually, I probably would have done something else right now, but the thing is this. Yeah, that beat was warm. Yesterday, I pulled an all-nighter, and I went to bed like at 4 o'clock or something, around 4. I think I fell asleep a bit after 4, and then I wake up 7:30 today. And now it's currently a bit before 12, and I wasn't going to eat today, but I was meal prepping. And then I accidentally ate a bit of potato and oil. And don't ask me how I accidentally ate.
Victory screech!
Like, the thing is this. I had my meal prep thing in the oven, and I scooped the potatoes around, and then like the leftovers from the fork or something and from my fingers, I just licked it off. And then I realized, shit, that's probably enough calories to break my autophagy. Autophagy. I don't know what it's even pronounced. But yeah, so then I just decided, you know what, I might as well just eat. And since I might as well eat, and the clock is like this, and also I've been sitting with the website an entire day just to fucking, yeah, customize a landing page. Ridiculous, honestly. But yeah, so I definitely need a break, just not to look at any screens or anything like that, and no artificial lights. I just need to rest my eyes. That's why I lit those candles and don't have the TV on or anything like that. But yeah, so I thought that we were going to go for round 2 with the food. Then another thing that I actually thought about a bit earlier today. I reread my old quote-unquote blog posts or newsletters. And then I read this marketing thing, which is honestly quite like foundational when it comes to marketing, like knowing your customer profile and all of that. But and the funny thing is, back then it was like 2023 or something, I said, now I finally know what I'll be doing, what type of agency, la la la. And I did, which I also wrote, but I also didn't know exactly. And the reason for that was because there's a lot of stuff, and I was gathering data. And I did for a while, but now I forgot about it entirely. And it made me realize that the thing I'm doing right now might actually help me like make a combination of marketing and video production and editing company where I only work with specific high paying, high ticket selling clients, because then I can charge more because they have the money. I do not want to work with broke people. Not when it comes to videography, definitely not. Because this is something that I actually enjoy doing to some extent, and where I can put down the time and all of that. But that's also the bad thing, because since I am able to put down the time, it means it's easier for me to put down more time. And I will not be overworking not to get paid. Then I could as well go to a 9 to 5, which I've decided not to do. Or not and not, like, obviously I will if I have to, and I will when I have to, and I do on occasions. It might sound weird saying on occasions, but yeah. But then another thing is, yeah, this bread is really chewy, like a motherfucker, man. Oof. Your customer profile and all of that. And it's funny because I could be speaking about a specific topic right now that I knew would generate me a certain type of people, which I would be able to upsell certain things, because I do have like quite specific knowledge in certain fields. And I know for a fact that if I wanted to, I could be selling programs, courses, and all of that for upwards of like 4K, honestly. And I can say that with quite big confidence. And now when I think of it, why am I just delaying things? Like, I'm looking for roles when it comes to sales jobs and all of that. But why do I not just make my own company and close for myself, do the marketing for myself? The only thing I'm unsure about is honestly the industry. Or not even that. Like, I honestly feel like the way for me to go forward to proceed with this, it is content creation and all of that. But I don't want to be this traditional short form content editor. No. Because my skill set is way more nuanced than that. And so is my way of thinking. So, like right now, I know I haven't uploaded anything with, like, that you see on TikTok or saw on TikTok a few years ago with all these effects and all of that. But that is another competence that I do have. I'm not the best. I couldn't charge 6K per month. But the reason why I also kind of stopped with my agency that I was starting, or yeah, video editing agency, is because I realized that I didn't enjoy that type of editing. What I liked was a bit more video based, artistic, cinematic, and not as much cutty and all of that. Because me personally, I hate looking at those things myself. So why would I create things that I like genuinely dislike looking at? Like that stuff, it just stresses me out. Like obviously I can watch it, but I'm so aware that all the effects are there, all the sounds are there, and I just look at it, and sometimes it just becomes too much. And sometimes I don't realize it, or sometimes I'm not aware, and then obviously you just get stuck in it until you just feel, what the fuck did I just watch? And then yeah, hopefully you don't continue. And the funny thing is, when I pressed record on this video right here, in my mind, what I was initially going to talk about is all the things I've learned about money and crypto throughout my years. Things that probably a lot of people are acquainted with, but they don't really understand. Things that I've come to understand better during the last 5 years or so. And you know what? I will actually be talking about it. If someone wants to watch the entirety of this video, great. Here you go. Feel free to. If someone doesn't, they don't have to. Sure, I could upload 2 videos and split this up, but no. Mm-mm. And this lamb was good, man. I'm gonna use some more spices for it tomorrow, though. But yeah, back to the inception, where it all began. So I was looking into stocks. I didn't know shit about stocks when I first started. I knew nothing about money, for that matter. And I still, honestly, am aware that there are people who know so much more than me. But that just puts it all into perspective. Like, yeah, regardless. At first, I just thought that, yeah, initially didn't know anything. Came to understand about or learn about the like compounding rule, and essentially how your money compounds with not only itself, but its compounding. So like a snowball, it snowballs. If you have $100, you get 10%, now you have 110. The next time it's 10% of 110, which is more than an additional $10. Yeah, it's 121. It's an additional one. Like 10% of one. Obviously, it is one. And so on and so forth. And if we continue doing this thing, so let's take 121 times 1.1, 133, 146, 161, 177, 194, 214, 235, 259, 285, 313. And now an additional 10% is, so let's just copy this before, 313. Okay, so 345.22 minus 313. So now that 10% of the initial $100 is now all of a sudden $30, which is like 30%. And obviously it isn't after a single period, it was multiple periods of 10%. And depending on your vehicle of compounding your money, that might take multiple years, or it might be faster. Which leads me into the next point. At first, I thought that the only way to like grow your money was through stocks, like the annual 5 to 8% per year type thing. And like that is a good way if you want to play it safe. And playing it safe is not necessarily bad. It is rather good for diversification purposes and when you want to preserve capital. Although the markets, they go up and down, and how the market moves is defined by the larger macro economy. So even if it's stocks, even if it's like index funds or whatever, it isn't safe at all times. So you're basically getting low to medium rewards for low risk if you know your expectations, as medium risk, and depending on the stocks and depending what type of investor you are, high. Because obviously there are tech stocks and all of that are risky. Tech stocks that are in Tesla, Amazon, Google, Meta, etc. But I think that people just don't understand compounding in that sense and how many opportunities there are out there to make money. Like right now I'm broker than I have ever been. Honestly. Okay, that is a lie. I wasn't honest. I've been way broker when I was a child. Way broker. My parents had less. I had significantly less. Yeah, I've definitely been broke. But like, at least for the past 4 years, no, 3.5 years, I haven't been broker than I am right now. And that might sound very funny. But just to let you know, like, I didn't always be in online money things and all of that. And when I was 18, actually, it was probably when I was 19, I almost hit a portfolio of 100k in crypto. And that's not too shabby for not being even 20, honestly. And that made me realize so many things. So many things. And it led me to other like events that made me realize even more things. And which is hopefully what I'll get into if we have the patience here to watch this video. And so actually I don't know if I'm gonna put this microphone on me or if I'm just gonna hold it. Alright. So first and foremost, almost 100k. That was mind-boggling to me. Like, I had never seen that much money before. And to this date, I honestly still haven't really. Because it wasn't realized. And that made me realize. Yeah. That made me realize the importance of actually securing profits, which I actually did in the future. Because gains are not gains until they're actually gains. What you see on the numbers, what you see on the screen, is not profit until you can have it in your bank. And not only until you can have it in your bank, but until you actually have it in your bank. And to the average Joe saying, oh, well, no shit, Sherlock, isn't that obvious? It is extremely obvious. So how come close to no one without significant experience actually applies the so-called obvious knowledge into their practice of investing and trading, for that matter? And securing gains is one thing that is important and kind of goes hand in hand with capital preservation. Like, I don't know, it's so hard to explain certain things when you don't know exactly what you want to get said. But actually what I want to get said is we can all have theory in something, but practice in whatever field we have theory in is so much more valuable than simply theory. And the reason for that is obviously because you practice what you preach or what you study, and you have like first-hand experience. You know how it works. You don't just know how things work, but you know how they actually work. Good explanation. You don't know how they work, but you know how they actually work. And the reason why this is important is because until you have that first-hand experience, you will never see the things that you do with simple theory. Like the things that are so vivid to me, the things I'm able to see right now, and like ideas that I'm able to conceptualize that I would never have been able to before. Like that just wasn't possible because I didn't have the experience. And just practicing something, it leads to even more theoretical knowledge. And it doesn't matter what field you're in, even investing, it just happens to be a bit more theoretical. Probably one of the more theoretical fields that you can even work in. Because, like, in terms of actual practice, there isn't that much on the outside, but there is a lot to it. And investing is just as much, if not even more, about knowing what not to do rather than what to do. And the reason for that is because the more things you know to avoid, even if you don't know what to go for, let's say, even if you don't know what hole or whatever thing you can pick from, whatever option is the winner, is the jackpot. Let's say you're going on a blind date with 100 girls, okay? Even if you do not know who the winner is, if you're able to identify the losers, the toxic ones, and people that are destroyed, who have broken hearts, who have this, that, etc., simply which girls to avoid, then by default you are more likely to pick the winner. Even if you don't know who the winner is, if you just know what to avoid, you will be picking the winner, or at least be more likely. And that's kind of the thing with investing and trading, and like what entries to take, what entries not to take. Same with crypto, what coins, what tokens to invest in, what not to invest in. And especially then, the thing I just said is even more applicable because, yeah, crypto tokens, they are, I don't know. Altcoins are not real. Crypto is not real. Crypto is a whole meme in of itself. And I'm saying this as someone who's been in the market for a while. But there honestly is. Like no real value to anything in crypto. And it sounds funny, but it's true. And I say this as someone who's not only been in crypto, but also like in DeFi, and I'm aware that yes, you're able to yield farm. Yes, you're able to invest in real world assets, and you're able to like invest decentralizedly, if that's a word. Like you're able to use money that isn't tracked to you on a blockchain and invest in real estate without needing a license for this or that, and you can choose the amount. Yes, I'm aware of it, and yes, it is great. But it feels like, I don't know, all the money in crypto, I don't know, it just ties back to nothing. I don't know, it's hard to explain. Let's say you, like a simple thing, let's say you just stake whatever token. Like for one, you're limited to that ecosystem or to something that has like a bridge. Now I'm going off topic a lot. I don't know how I got in here, but or yeah, I do. Crypto is not a scam, it's good, but it just needs some more work, and we are very early. That is essentially what I'm trying to say. It's not over, it's not a scam, it's not a meme. It is a meme right now, but so was the internet probably before, and that's kind of the same thing. It just needs so much work. That is honestly the TLDR, because right now you can't really do anything with crypto. You need to cash out, you need to pay your taxes and all of that. Plus on every single blockchain, like not every blockchain can connect with each other, and some blockchains are, some are not, and depending on what bridges you use, you might be able to get it through, but still. And now luckily I don't really know anyone who uses more than Ethereum, Solana, and maybe maximum 3 more like blockchains. But majority of people use Solana, Ethereum, and then layer 2s on Ethereum. Ice cream is horrible, man. I've been eating too much. I wanna puke this shit up, man. But yeah, like when it comes to crypto, when it comes to trading and all of that, like the most important aspect of it is obviously having money. If you don't have money, you're not able to do it. But the second most important aspect is protecting your money, being protective of it. Because yet again, if you don't have money, you're not able to participate in the crypto market, investment market, stock market, real estate market, or whatever, because you simply don't have money. So protecting your capital is the second most important. The third most important, or no, yeah, preserving capital. I don't know which is more important, protecting it or preserving it. I think preserving it is more important, because you can still preserve it, but you don't necessarily need to protect it just to preserve it. But if you preserve it, you automatically protect it. But just by protecting it, you don't preserve it. So preserving is the second most important. Protecting it is the third most important. And then not being afraid to use the money you actually have is the fourth, which might sound very contradictory to preserving, because if you're preserving it, then obviously you wouldn't want to use too much, right? But the thing is, with investing, you want to be certain in your decisions and investments. it doesn't matter how you gain that confidence, if it is true through pure like confidence, through delusion it's called, like through delusion by whatever like means you've acquired that delusion from. Like if it's just, let's say crypto now for example, or say stock, let's say just Tesla for example. I'm not saying Tesla is a bad stock, but let's just say Tesla is a bad stock, like objectively. And then I've just been, I'm super deluded. I think Tesla is going to the moon because I saw a poster on it in Manhattan, like a homeless person. He wrote, Tesla will go to the moon, so now I believe in it. Obviously, if I believe in it, it's good for one reason. And one of the reasons are because a lot of times, even if you are not correct, you will still not lose a lot. Or in certain cases, you will even be correct. But the other important thing is psychological. And that is that it won't stress you out, it won't make you as emotional because you're confident in your decisions. And not being confident in a decision that you make, or at least like letting whatever decision you make sway you emotionally, will create a cascading effect of bad habits throughout your entire life. Like, first and foremost, it will most likely make you lose money through bad investment and trading decisions and whatever. And besides that, that will lead you to make further bad decisions in the same market, which will lead you to do more decisions that are bad and more and more and more. And it will be very hard to actually break this cycle until basically you're forced to. Which brings me into the other point why it's actually bad, and that is it will affect your personal life outside of that a lot as well. Like, let's say any other job or industry, you're able to avoid those essentially costs. Like, if you're not closing a sales call, it isn't really like costing you money. Yes, it is indirectly costing you money. You could have been making the money, but it isn't really affecting you in the same way as losing all your money, for example. And so like you bring it with you and it is constantly there. But if it's a deal that you haven't closed, okay, you didn't close it, on to the next one. It's very simple. But with money, we always tend to, we want to win it back, we want to gain it back if we've lost. And that, like, the emotional effect, emotional trading, investing, it just perpetuates itself. It's a vicious fucking cycle. And like, unless you truly have been through it like a few times before and have gotten to know yourself to a certain extent, it will be hard to just like promptly or by will just snap out of it. For example, the first time in crypto, I knew that it would have been a good time to cash out, but I didn't want to. I wanted to reach 100k, but I was already way above my means. Like, I should have cashed out at like 50, at max 75k, but I reached even higher than that, and I got greedier. And then when it went down, like, I was deluded. but not for the better. Like I thought, oh yeah, it can go up again. It's just a dip. It's a temporary dip. But guess what? The dip kept dipping, and the bear market, it started. It it went downhill, and yeah, man. Yeah, not fun. And then my second like big loss, when I also know that I should have just, I don't know, quit it, is so last winter I basically had no capital. I had a bit of money already in crypto, but outside of that I had like no real capital. But I thought, you know what, why not? It's winter, let me get back to it. I don't know how I got back into it, but yeah, I did. And within a few months, I accumulated airdrops left and right and had about 20, 30k, maybe, spread across different wallets. Maybe a bit less, maybe a bit more. I'm not quite sure exactly. Regardless, I started to trade and I deposited some money. And the funny thing is, I started trading like crypto solely for a specific airdrop, hyper liquid. And that is essentially how I got into trading. I just wanted to delta neutral and get points on hyperliquid. But then I ended up becoming a trader. That is fucking funny, man. Like, oh, the irony in that shit. And then becoming liquidated. That's probably even funnier. But yeah, so essentially, I just kept on losing and losing and losing and losing. Like I'm telling you, I lost. I lost. I lost. I lost. And at first, I didn't even trade with much capital because I wasn't confident in what I was doing. But then it came to a point where it wasn't even that I was not confident in what I was doing, because I still wasn't. But I just like gained a false sense of confidence, and I'd sort of become desensitized to losing, because I also got some wins, but then at the end of it, I always lost it. I always got liquidated again. I could be going steady up or steady down, but at the end of the day, it always came to a liquidation. And the reason for that is because you have no like objective. You have no set specific amount of number that you're striving for, that you're looking for to get within a set time period. And this is applicable even for investing in stocks. Let's say you want this percentage per year. Okay, no, maybe it's not that applicable for stocks, but ideally, like, if you know that the market has been going up like a lot for a long time and you've already reached your objective, there's not really any reason to, I don't know, stay in the market. And you call me whatever, but I don't know, that's just the way I'm thinking. And by the way, the stock market back in 2020, around Corona time maybe, Yeah, I had a 30% return on investment. No, it wasn't 30% because I lost some before I actually cashed it all out. Maybe 18%, but 18%, that's still not too bad. But it would have been 30 if I just withdrew the money before. And then my stocks hadn't been going up for a long time. Or, yeah, rather, the stocks had been going up for a long time. But I just hadn't been part of the long uprise. So, yeah. But that's... It is what it is. So back to what I was saying with trading and liquidations and all of that. So actually, what was he even saying? Someone remind me, please. You will always want more if you have no objective to go for. Yeah, essentially that. So it always came back to me being liquidated and depositing more, becoming desensitized to losing because the amount I lost wasn't even that big. But then it became bad because the money that I invested now came to a point where, I don't know, it was actually substantial sums of money that I could both be earning and losing. Like, I'm just saying this. If you're up like 15k in a week, 20k in a week, or down 8k a day, 12k a day, like, that is sums that will have you feel a different type of way, especially when it's a majority of your net worth. Like, there's not really any way for me to explain it. Honestly, the best tip I can give you right now, if you want to get into trading and investing, is do it yourself. Start while you barely have any money, because the more money you have, the harder it will be, because you'll most likely go through the same stage as everyone else. And if you have a lot of money and go through that stage, well, it's more that you're losing. And the most important thing, obviously, with investing and trading, it is to have a disposable income. If you don't have a disposable income, it will tilt you, because then you will have to rely on solely making steady returns in order to feed yourself. And that can work. But 10% of $100 is not as much as 10% of $500 million. Like, 10% of 500 mil, that is $50 million. Like, you don't even need to be making big percentage or percentile gains when you have like above 50 mil. Because at 50 mil, like, if you increase your portfolio by 0.1%, all right, not even 1%, 0.1%, you will be making 50k. And 50k, like 0.1%, like, that is 0.1%. Did you hear what I'm saying? 0.1% will get you 50k. That is yet again why capital preservation is important, Because if you can't preserve your capital, you can never get to those levels. Like, I don't know how to put it into perspective. Like, if you're young, even if you aren't young, if you're somewhat young, and if you aren't above 40, honestly, if you're 40 plus, then thinking like this might not be beneficial. If you have kids, if you have, I don't know, like nieces or whatever, then maybe you can start investing for them. But if you're below 20, and it still low-key infuriates me, because I've thrown away so much money that I still could have had. But at the end of the day, it's not worth thinking like that, because I've gained like invaluable lessons from that. Like, you can't buy the lessons. Sure, I could have learned it with less money, but I should be happy that I've learned these lessons with the amount of capital that I've had, and not 100 mil, for example, because that would have been truly expensive lessons. Sure, they were still expensive right now, but they could have been even more expensive. And just to continue putting this into perspective for you, like 10k as well, it's not much. Like 0.1%, no, yeah, 0.1%, 0.001, like that is $10. And let's say that you want a steady return of 1% per month. If you're trading, like, that is very achievable, very achievable. And of course, I'm not saying that every month will be profitable. Some months you will be down a lot, some months you'll be up, but on average, at least if you have prior investing knowledge and some macro knowledge as well, then 1% on average per month, it isn't impossible. So let's say 1% per month, and you have 10k, that still isn't that much. That's $100. So throughout a year, like 12%, 10k, yeah, 1200. Like, that honestly is not much. And that is also why, like, learning these lessons now are good, because it will save you money down the line, but you will never be making much money if you don't have money as well. And that's also why I've personally distanced myself from trading, because I will not be able to trade or think in the right state of mind when I know that I'll just be making 1200 in an entire year from 10k. Like, that is nothing, especially when I've seen like plus 6k in just a few hours using leverage, and even more than that for that matter. And obviously that is the problem, because I don't have enough capital, so I'm leveraging. And just as you can see plus 6k in a few hours, you can see minus 6k. But once that plus 6k turns negative 6k, it isn't as funny, and then you start to tilt even more. And I assume it's the same for stocks, just that stocks, they're a way slower learning curve than trading. Like, trading is like a hyper fucking knowledge curve, especially leverage trading. Like, the point with leverage trading, it isn't even to make more money. Like, if you want to make money, you should avoid leverage trading by all means. I'm saying this, stick to low leverage or spot. Like, you do not want to get liquidated like this in a few hours just because Ethereum goes down a few $100s. I've done it. I've been there. I've lost tens of thousands of dollars just by this specific example. And it is not worth it to use leverage. The only reason why it's good is because it forces you to analyze certain things about the market, about yourself, how things move, that you wouldn't be able to use in as low leverage. Because if you're using a demo account or if you're using low leverage, like you aren't as emotional, you don't force yourself to think as much. And like I can confidently tell you this, that I started trading in, when was it, like November 2023 maybe? Shit, it's almost been a year, maybe a bit later actually, like January 2024, maybe, I'd say. Like before that, I had no knowledge. Before 2023 November, I had no knowledge at all. Like I thought trading seemed super complicated because I didn't barely even know the difference between longing and shorting and what leverage was. So I just never put any thought into it. But then all of a sudden I became addicted to it. And I spent hours every day, every single day. And the funny thing is, I haven't even watched that much YouTube. Like I've maybe watched 10 hours of YouTube in total. But I've still learned so much because I've read things, I've read articles, I've read blog posts, I've read tweets. And I've looked at the market myself and built up a mental guideline of how things work. And like the foundations of trading, I'd say that I have a pretty decent idea of how it works. And I can't really put it into words because, as I said, I haven't watched any YouTube videos or anything like that actually describes certain patterns or puts stuff into words. But it's this weird thing, like if you know it, you just know it, like your intuition. It isn't just intuition. Your intuition is built of experience, of losses, of wins. And same with investing. It isn't specifically for trading. And people say, no, you can't just trust your intuition and it's just a feeling. It can be wrong, la la la. But obviously, that feeling and intuition is based off something. It's not just there arbitrarily, although it can be. But it's the same thing as, like, let's say you're a fighter. Like, if a person moves a certain way, you have a feeling, like your gut tells you by instinct, by intuition, that the next move from this person is gonna be a right hook. So you predict it, you move backwards. But if that doesn't go the same, like the way it is meant to be, quote unquote meant to be, then you understand, shit, he was faking that. Now the fucking kick is coming up my head. So you take up your fucking hand and you block it or whatever. And then you go into offense, etc., etc. You get my point. Like, that intuition is based off experience. It's not just random. And you can't really explain it, or sure, you could probably explain it. Some people probably can explain it. Me personally, I don't know if I can, and I definitely won't try to, because that is not my main intention. Trading is something that I'll keep at the side. I'll maybe send out newsletters about my trades in the future when I've actually begun to make more money, like on a regular basis. But it is not something that I will be teaching. It is more so a hobby, interest, and a thing that I'll keep at the side, and maybe I'll share it. But I will not be trying to teach it. That is no. But investing in certain things and all of that, things that I'm talking about right now, maybe like there's something to learn from it. I honestly don't know. The only thing I know is that speaking about certain things like this right now, I don't know, it doesn't hurt. Maybe it gets some use cases in the future. Like, it's a live case study of me talking from years back. Who knows when I'll have use of that. But the clock is currently 01:35. Yeah, there has been a whole lot of everything and nothing in this video, probably. I don't even know how long I've recorded it right now. But it should be a while. And yeah, I honestly think I'm gonna hold it here. Can't really remember where I left off. I know there's a lot of things that I haven't said. Like a lot of things. So much. But I just don't know where to begin. And if I'll continue, this video will be me sitting until the morning. And that is really not what I want to be doing after pulling an all-nighter yesterday. I need to fix my sleep right now. Sleep is the foundation of things actually working out. So actually, that is the last thing that I'll touch upon. So, for nights upon nights, because especially when trading crypto, the market, it never sleeps. And sure, especially during like Q1, Q2 this year, like early Q2 or late Q2 even. Yeah, late Q2 especially. Like, it seemed like the markets respected weekends. It wasn't as much movements usually, and that is a good thing. But certain days there were movements on weekdays, on the days, and certain weekdays it was at the nights. And like, essentially the market never sleeps. And that forced me to be up a lot of nights because I was using so high leverage that I had to manage my risk, because I couldn't just leave it. Because I left it, I would get liquidated. And yeah, sleep is so important, because unless you sleep, you can't like form as good thesis on your trades and all of that, where you want to take the trades, where you want to take your investments, what you want to accomplish with it, plus your logic, your emotional state is also screwed up. Like, you could have been up for a long time, and all of a sudden you just think, oh, it doesn't matter if I lose this trade, when the trade is like 10k, because you're just tilting, you aren't in your right state of mind. And that's kind of the state I was in when I lost the majority of my money. Like, I remember during the night I was up, like I went to bed late, maybe 4 or 5, and my cousin graduated the next day. So the whole family went up like 8, and I live at their place, or lived at their place at the time. And so yeah, we were all going up, and yeah, I was super tired. And yeah, we went to the graduation, and we got there, we were there a few hours, we came home after a few hours, and I was so tired, I couldn't even look at the charts, Because keep in mind, before this, I'd also been doing the same things nights on end. Because as I just said, the markets, they are awake 24/7, they never sleep. So I came home, I just went to bed for like an hour or something until like people actually arrived to the graduation party. But my cortisol was so high. Like my cortisol levels, I'm telling you, they were indescribably high. Like I was so tired, but I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep because I was so stressed. And that just proves how important it is to both not over leverage, not invest more than you're willing to lose, not trade more than you're willing to lose, and also sleep. So, yeah, I go up, people arrive, I get something to drink, we start eating, we're chilling in my cousin's room for a bit, and yeah, then fast forward a few more hours. Been eating, been drinking a bit more, not really thinking about the markets, feeling really good, just enjoying myself. And then fast forward a bit more, we're heading out to my cousin's friend's graduation party. So we're getting there, same thing. Didn't really know these people. Know the guy that had the graduation party, one other guy, my cousin, but there were other people there too. I was getting a bit tired again. It was cold outside. I remember I was fucking freezing, although it was still summer, but it was early summer. Like it got really cold at the night. I remember like literally freezing. So the alcohol was the only thing keeping me a bit warm. But yeah, then it goes some time, and then we're finally going out, like out, and I remember a bit before that time, it just clicked in my head. I hadn't been watching the markets for a long time, so I pull up my phone, and I see that the market is going down quite a lot. And when I say a lot, I don't mean like 40%, but many percent enough for me to worry when I'm using like 13 or 17x leverage or whatever leverage I was using. And I knew I was fucked like one way or another because I didn't have access to my trading account, because on that specific account where I was using or having a bit more capital, I had it connected to a ledger, which is dumb if you're using so much leverage. Like, how are you gonna adjust it? But yeah, that's how it was. And I remember it goes a bit more time. We're at the train on our ways out, and I remember we're just in the metro, and all of a sudden it just clicks in my head. Like I'm seeing the charts and I'm just 99% certain that I've been liquidated. And I just accepted it, and the anger came in. I remember I fucking like hit a brick wall with my fist or something. Like not a brick wall that was spiky, but like a smooth wall, and I just hit it. And I don't know, I was down for a bit, and I remember someone caught on that I was just feeling off, and then I had to tell my cousin, because like if I was going out and I would have been like that and no one knew, like it would have just been weird. So I told my cousin, like, okay, I'm 99% certain that I'd been liquidated. And the fun thing is, I've been talking to him a bit about trading and all of that, so he's aware that I have quite some capital and that I do trade and that I do tend to over leverage, or at least that I tended to. It's not something that I'll continue doing. But yeah. And obviously, he understood, but he couldn't really feel it like that. And that's another thing. Like, first hand experience wins every day of the week. You can see someone lose $10 million, but unless it is yourself, you will never get the insights, the lessons, the emotions that come with it. Never. Like, it is a completely different thing. But yeah, regardless, fast forward a bit more, I just realized I'd been liquidated. I just accepted it. It wasn't worth being mad at it. So I just forgot about it, accepted it, and actually had a pretty fun night. We were going out, went from one place to another, and for the majority of the night I didn't even think about it, and I was in a pretty good mood, honestly. Yeah, shit, man. Until these fucking girls came around. But yeah, it was a pretty good night, honestly. And then we get home like 6 in the morning or something, and at this point I can't even be bothered to check if I'd been liquidated or not. Like, I'd slept like 3 hours the night before. I'd slept like not a lot the previous nights, and when I tried to sleep earlier the same day, I couldn't even sleep. So like, the first thing I did, I was just going into bed, and I just lay down like this, and I don't know, I fell asleep quite quickly, if I remember correctly. And then I also remember the following morning, the first thing I do is I take a deep breath. And I don't know if I checked the charts instantly or if I waited a bit. But I remember as I check it, I see my balance and I see that I am actually liquidated. And I was like, oh my god, yeah, at least it's good that I didn't check it the night before. Because right then and there, that's when the realization came. Like, fuck, I've just lost like 60 or 70% of my net worth, which is crazy. And yeah, that took me a few days to get over. But once I actually got over it, yeah, it made me move forward, get to other things, and essentially get off the markets. Yes, reflect upon myself and a lot of other things. Like, if you see my previous YouTube videos, there are some videos where I'm talking about very specific things, about how I've grown, about things that I've been pushing away and all of that, like things that I haven't even had time to think about because that hasn't even been my priority. But for example, when you don't use social media, because I don't anymore, and you don't have a job, which I didn't at the time because I came back here to this apartment to get the last stuff to bring up to them again. But now I've been staying here for a bit. Like, it leaves you with a lot of time to think. And I came to think about so many different things about myself. And honestly, this liquidation and all of these incidents that have happened and all of that, it might just have been what I needed for me to prosper long term and take myself to where I actually want to be, because it felt like I was just stuck in a loop, and I honestly didn't really get anywhere. But now it feels like I'm picking up the speed, the momentum, and I'm like at the inception of the snowball, just getting it to fucking roll, like slowly. Like I haven't built up speed, but I've already pushed. Like imagine the hard part about pushing and pushing and pushing, getting experience, gathering information, getting knowledge, getting the knowledge to fucking manifest itself into your brain and printing it or imprinting it into your subconscious, and just letting it be part of your nature, what you know, not having to put any active thought into it. Like it feels like for the majority of endeavors that I'm pursuing, or majority, like the hardest parts in these respective endeavors, it feels like I'm already done. So now it's currently just imagine that I'm pushing 2 snowballs right now. It's like one I've already done the hard push with, and the other one I still need to apply some force, and I still need to be applying force a bit more and getting it to roll. But one of the snowballs is slowly getting to roll, and the other one I still have a bit of pushing to do. But essentially, like in 2 or 3 years, I'll have gotten both balls rolling, and one will be rolling faster than the other, and the other will be probably close to on par with the other one. But yeah, it just feels good. And as I said, might have just been the thing I needed. But yeah, I'm gonna hold this here because 151. I've been talking for a while now, haven't I? But yeah, if anyone has watched this throughout the end, like, I don't know, just describe something, some keywords that I've talked about, and I don't know, I don't remember your name. Let me know what you think of the video, of the thoughts, if you made it all the way to the end, if you watched it all. But yeah, thank you for watching though. I truly appreciate it. And I hope you gained something out of value from it. But yeah, time for me to rewind, head to bed. So yeah, until further notice, take care.